Hello guys, welcome to another GizChina Germany review. Today it's all about the Lenovo K3 Note, also known as the K50T5. Now this budget phablet has blown me away, I tell you that right away. It's only priced at 149 bucks, yet is a pretty much perfect budget phablet. It really offers so much and it's working so well that you really wonder how Lenovo have been able to create such a good device at such a low price. Well, I really thought that I've seen the maximum possible with the MT6752 chipset already within this price range. But well, I've been wrong. The Lenovo K3 Note proved me wrong, and indeed all the hype going around this phablet right now is, well, completely justified in my opinion. So in this review I'm gonna tell you why this phablet is so amazing and what stuff I love the most about it. So let's start with the package contents. What you see right in front of the camera is everything you get when ordering the Lenovo K3 Note, which of course is a typical Lenovo packaging with a brown top and some pattern on that. That's typical for Lenovo. And the box itself is black, and we have some specs on the rear of it, completely in Chinese. You of course also get the phone itself and some accessories, including a micro USB cable, a wall charger, one coupon code for the Lenovo App Store, one warranty card, and a quick start guide, which is completely in Chinese and thus not really usable. So let's have a look at the design of the phone right away after I've put away all the accessories. Here we go. So this is how the Lenovo K3 Note looks like, and well, this is a plastic bump, but I actually don't mean that in a negative way, because Lenovo used some quality polycarbonate on here, so it's actually feeling a little cheap due to the low weight of only 147 grams, which isn't much at all for a phablet like this with 5.5 inches. But in the end, it's still a quality device, feeling not too cheap if you move your hands around it. And it also doesn't look cheap at all, even though it's a little bit simple in terms of design. It's also pretty stable. I mean, you can bend it a little, which is due to all the plastic and no metal chassis being inside. But you definitely need some force to do so. And it's definitely not easy to bend it. And you will for sure not break it just by carrying it around inside the pocket. What I also like about the build quality is that there are no squeaking noises or something when pressing at the back cover, which also is a pro. But there are some flaws as well. First of all, we don't have a backlit LED, we don't have backlit touch buttons below the screen. Those just have some icons printed on them, which you can barely see when it's dark. Which really is a pity. A status LED is present, so this has not been forgot here. And another thing some might dislike is the color of the phone, because it comes with a yellow back cover. But I have to say that I actually love it. I usually hate yellow phones, but in this case this isn't just yellow. This is somehow of a special yellow with a, well, slightly golden or orange undertone. It's hard to explain, it just looks very nice in my opinion. And actually, depending on how the light falls on it and the color of the light, the color actually looks different. So you pretty much have a different looking phone depending on the lighting conditions around you. That's pretty interesting and I like that. But if you don't like it at all, you can of course use a white back cover, which is available as well. If you are not sure if you like the yellow or the white one, just purchase both and try both. By the way, the hardware buttons here are in silver color, feature a slight pattern as well. And they are one part with the back cover, so if you replace the back cover, you will replace the buttons here as well. And those actually don't move at all and have a very nice pressure point. They're working pretty well. So all in all, I like the design and build quality of the Lenovo K3 Note. And well, I think they did a pretty good job here considering the price tag and all the other specs you get with this phone. The next topic to talk about is obviously the screen, and well, we have a 5.5-inch panel with OGS and IPS technology, and surprise surprise, it offers a 1080p resolution, which is very unusual at this price point, at least with the specs thrown inside of there. And even though this phone is rather cheap and you wouldn't expect a quality display in there, it is actually pretty good. Now, if you've looked at a few other reviews meanwhile, you probably have noticed that some complain about a limited sharpness of the display, but I have to say that's complaining at a very high level. Compared to other 1080p displays, reduced sharpness is actually caused by a different pixel pattern, as you might be able to see if I come very close to the camera. Now, that's probably due to the budget panel built inside of there. But as I said, it's complaining at a very high level because you only notice the differences if you put a other 1080p device right next to the Lenovo K3 Note. And otherwise, the display is just amazing and one of the best panels I've ever seen inside a budget phone so far. Contrast ratio is absolutely stunning. You can see that here with all the icons and the wallpaper. We have great contrast here, great black levels. I really like that. The colors look just very intense yet still natural. It's a very good display, no way around it. And actually the brightness is very good as well. There is really no issue reading stuff on it outside. And also the automatic brightness control works very well on this phone. You can actually either control completely manual or with the ambient light sensor, and even define the range in which the display will be controlled automatically. It also has some kind of display enhancing feature like MediaTek Mirror Vision, but it's not MediaTek Mirror Vision, it's something developed by Lenovo on their own. You can't configure it, but it does its job properly out of the box, so no need to configure anything there. Viewing angles are very good as well, nothing to complain here. And also the touch panel is working very well. It's very snappy, very precise, no input lag, just like it should be. The surface is very smooth and also very scratch proof. We don't have Gorilla Glass on there, but Gorilla Glass is not the only toughened glass out there. The Lenovo K3 Note actually uses a glass called Dragon Trail, and this one is working just as fine as Gorilla Glass 3 in my opinion. While I took some pictures of the device for my written review, I placed it down with the screen on a stone surface and even moved it around a bit, and well, there are still no scratches on the screen, even though I've never used a protective film since day one, so that's pretty impressive actually. So the next part I want to talk about is hardware, and specs wise the Lenovo K3 Note actually is on a very high level. We have a fast MediaTek MT6752 64-bit SoC inside of there, which features 8 ARM Cortex-A53 cores clocked at 1.7 GHz along a Meili T760 dual-core GPU, and the whole thing is paired with 2 GB of LPDDR3 RAM, and it's actually a very fast RAM module inside of there, which reaches over 5 GB per second of bandwidth, which actually is very impressive for a budget phone. Usually they are much slower, and along a pretty fast 16 GB internal memory, which actually outperforms the internal memory of the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, and we reach a really good performance on this phone. The operating system is very smooth on there. Every application runs very snappy, games run just fine, and well, benchmark results are very good as well. So you definitely don't notice the low price on the performance side of the phone. And what I also like about the Lenovo K3 Note is that despite all the plastic going on here, it doesn't have any heating issues. The chip doesn't get very hot, and well, also during gaming there are no frame drops and anything due to heat, so that's definitely a pro as well. And another thing I like is that we have a fully functional magnetic compass inside of there. I know many phones these days offer those compass sensors, those magnetic field sensors, but actually most of the time they don't work inside those budget phones. I don't know why, that's really a pity, but inside this one it does work just as it should be, just as in any more expensive device, so that's definitely another pro that has to be mentioned here. So the next thing is software, and Of course, the Lenovo K3 Note runs Lenovo's VibeUI, which is their Android custom ROM they run on most devices, and here it's based on Android 5.0 Lollipop with an Android 5.1 beta version available right now for testing, and I think the stable version should be released sometimes next month or so. Those of you who've watched other Lenovo phone reviews made by me already probably know that I've never been a huge fan of VibeUI. I usually used to hate it because it came with so much bloatware. It threw so many information at once at you that you hardly could keep track of it. It offered so many features thrown inside a strange way into the system that you can't keep track of where is which feature. It was pretty hard to use, a pain in the ass really. But actually this changed a lot with the Lenovo K3 Note. I don't know if they've just been lucky this time or if they really realized what they did wrong all the time. However, I really started to love VibeUI on the Lenovo K3 Note. And first of all, that's due to the extremely well optimized Android 5.0 Lollipop running on here. This really is the smoothest and, well, best working Lollipop experience to date I've experienced on a 64-bit based MediaTek smartphone. Well, let's face it, it's pretty impressive what they've done on here. And you really notice that not only on how the OS works, but also in terms of performance. They really managed to optimize all the stuff towards the SoC, and I would have never believed that any company would be able to get so much performance out of the MT6752. I consider it as fast already, but this one really showed me what this SoC really can do. And let me tell you, it's pretty much on par with a Snapdragon 801 in real life. So that's pretty impressive actually. Another pro is that you regularly get OTA updates, over-the-air updates on the Lenovo K3 Note, so Lenovo actually keeps this thing updated. And well, as I mentioned, Android 5.1 is under development right now. And another pro is that actually there are a lot of custom ROMs available already, and that includes even CyanogenMod 12.1, so another pro for those of you who love custom ROMs. They will be able to install those on the Lenovo K3 Note. But let's have a look at the operating system itself right now. What you see running on here is the real stock ROM pre-installed by Lenovo. What you have to know is that some shops actually install a different ROM, which comes with pre-installed Google Play services, more languages. The stock ROM only supports English and Chinese, and a lot of bloatware. So if you get a phone pre-installed with multiple languages and the Google Play Store, please make sure to remove it and install the proper stock ROM, because those shop ROMs may seem useful due to the pre-installed Play services and the multiple languages on it, but actually those ROMs offer way too much bloatware. There also are viruses on it or adware, and actually the ROMs don't perform as good as the original ROM does. It's pretty laggy compared to the original ROM. So please install the proper ROM before you use your phone. That's pretty important. So what do I like so much about VibeUI? Well, it's a couple of things, a couple of features. First of all, I really like the notification center of VibeUI. Lenovo really managed to squeeze everything on one page here, yet it's still very usable and well, it doesn't disturb you. Here on the lower area, which is empty, you usually see your notifications, and on the upper row here you see your quick settings, and those actually are pretty useful. You have the standard stuff you know from Android, like enabling, disabling Wi-Fi, data connection, auto rotate, GPS and all that stuff. But also useful things like create a screenshot with one single tap, enable the flashlight, enable the ultimate power saving mode, enable night eye protection and all that stuff. I mean, that's pretty useful, and you can even control your screen brightness right out of every application, even inside full screen mode. Just swipe from top to bottom and you will be able to open up the notification center and adjust the screen brightness. So that's working very nice, and it did a good job integrating everything you need inside of there. Another thing I like is that you really can configure the whole operating system to your likings, how you want to have it look. I, for example, used a different icon set on here, like the original one, plus threw in a nice wallpaper from the Xiaomi Note, and I also changed the transition if you switch the home screens to the 3D cube effect, which I think does look very nice. If you want to change stuff yourself, you can, of course, swipe out here, scroll through all your pages, scroll through your widgets that are available. And here, if you press the menu button, you get all the other options. You can apply themes to the OS, you can change the wallpaper, you can open up your screen manager where you can delete home screens, add home screens, set home screens as the main home screen and all that stuff. So really a lot of settings going on here. You can even enable and disable infinite scrolling and stuff like that. It really looks nice, it really is very useful. Definitely a pro, and it doesn't stop there. You can even hit the display settings and apply your own system font in case you don't like the stock one. Change the font size and everything. They really put some thoughts inside the OS. Another thing I really like about the VibeUI running on here is the power manager. A lot of people often have issues with applications consuming too much energy, and sometimes it's very hard to figure out which application actually draws all that energy. And well, actually with VibeUI it's very easy. You see the power consumption of all apps inside of there. You can open up detailed statistics regarding that, and it even shows you how long this particular application prevented the CPU from going to sleep, which is very important if you look for an application that draws too much energy in standby mode. Also, you can see your hardware energy consumption, which obviously is the CPU on top. It's not really obviously actually. Sometimes the screen is the most energy consuming component, so you actually can see that the screen takes unusual low amount of energy on this phone, and the reason for this is Lenovo's own screen enhancements and backlight enhancements, and also the automatic brightness control, which is working very nice here. It makes the screen a very energy efficient panel. Also, due to the different pixel structure, they don't need a backlight that is so bright like with other 1080p panels, so that's saving some energy as well. So that's really interesting. Another thing I really like about VibeUI is how you can manage applications. First of all, you have the possibility to move specific applications to your external SD card, which often isn't possible on Lollipop devices, and here it is. And it is even possible with apps Android usually doesn't allow you to move to the SD card, so that's very useful as well. But it doesn't stop there. You can even view the application rights plus set the rights you want to give a particular application in detail. So for example, Google Chrome is allowed to use the network connection and Wi-Fi connection without any question or something. But if it wants to get location, use the camera or use the recording functionality, I want to get prompted and asked if I really want to grant access to this permission. And I also can set permissions that I don't want to be asked for, that should be blocked by default. And in case of Google Chrome, that's auto start. I don't want Chrome to start together with the phone, so I simply put that to disallow and it won't be allowed to auto start. So that's actually, again, very, very useful, and something I for myself often miss with stock Android. Another thing I liked about the Lenovo K3 Note is the SIM management. Actually, there's nothing special about it. I just like the way it looks. You can actually even give your SIM card an own name to distinguish them from each other. And if you have two different SIM cards inside the phone, you can always hit down your notification center and see the settings for the SIM cards here then, and you can set for which you want to use the SIM card for which feature. So that's again pretty useful what they did there. Another thing I like are that you have something called smart scenes inside of there. And before I show you that, I show you another feature. I, for example, often have trouble finding a particular settings because there are so many. Smart scenes, for example, is a setting I discovered somewhere and never could find it again. So I simply can search for a setting here. I just type in smart here, and here, boom, we go smart scene. I tap on this entry and boom, the setting is open. That's very useful and makes finding a specific setting very easy and time efficient. And smart scene actually is a time efficient feature as well, because you can create custom scenes on here which should be activated on a specific time each and every day. So for example, you can say, okay, I create a smart scene that becomes active every workday from like 8 o'clock to, I don't know, 17 o'clock or something. And inside of that, I can specify specific things to do. For example, I can say activate airplane mode, disable audio, disable or enable GPS, or set the brightness to a specific level. And that's actually very useful. For example, you can automatically mute your phone every day once you go to work. So you have one thing to care less about, one thing the phone takes away from you and does automatically. So that's actually very useful and time saving. I really like such features. What I actually also like about the VibeUI is its task manager. You have a really nice preview of all opened windows here along the application icon and its name. And with one click you can really empty the memory to free up RAM for other applications. If you close an application, you really kill the background process, so it won't be open anymore. So that's really useful. And another thing is that sometimes there might be applications that should be opened all the time, even if you hit those free RAM button. For example, the Facebook Messenger, which you would like to have always open. So you simply drag this application down and it gets locked. And now if I clean the RAM, it will stay open, which is very useful. If you want to get rid of this application lock again, simply drop it down once again, and it will be gone and you can close it. So that's again very well done. So as you can see, we have a very nice operating system going on here with a lot of features. I didn't show you even half of it right now because it would simply make the video too long, but you've got a quick impression about how nice VibeUI got meanwhile. Of course, there are a few bugs left. For example, Google Play Games isn't working right now for some reason. It cannot even be installed. I don't know why. I hope that will be fixed with the next over-the-air update. And another bug is with Google Chrome and Lollipop. As you probably know, Google Chrome, since Lollipop, opens new tabs inside a new window. And actually, VibeUI has some issues with that, because once you close a single window, why didn't it open a new one? Here we go. So once you close a single window, it will close Google Chrome all along, as you can see here, and you need to reopen it. So if you have a couple of tabs open, close one, everything will be closed. That's really not usable at all in my opinion, and this is why you need to use a different browser until this gets fixed. But I'm pretty positive it will be fixed soon, since Lenovo really cares about updates on this device. Another part about the Lenovo K3 Note that I really liked and that really blew me away is audio, because usually you wouldn't expect a decent audio quality with such a budget phablet, let's face that. They usually have pretty crappy speakers and the audio quality through headphones also isn't that good most of the time. But once again, Lenovo really paid attention to details here and actually equipped the Lenovo K3 Note with max audio. Surprise, surprise, let me open that. And this audio enhancer is really useful actually, as it works with both the internal speaker and your headphones, and you can select different presets here like movie, music and games, and you also can set everything to your likings with the internal equalizer and have some handy features like max bass and all that stuff. So pretty nice and really great audio enhancement feature. And actually it works very well with the internal speaker. Now there's a special version of the Lenovo K3 Note available, which actually has a ceramic speaker inside the back cover. Well, actually you can use that back cover on your normal K3 Note as well. The pins are there and the feature in the system is available as well. But you actually don't really need a dedicated speaker because the small internal speaker is surprisingly good already. It's only a mono speaker, but it sounds amazing. It has hell of a lot of bass and it just sounds very good. No way around that. It really is a pleasure listening to music with this internal speaker. I'm really surprised with that. It almost sounds like the Oppo Find 7. It probably would sound exactly like the Oppo Find 7 if it would have two of those speakers. Sadly it doesn't. Well, what a pity. Anyway, and through headphones, this device just sounds extremely good as well, also thanks to Max Audio. We have a very clear and balanced output. You really can bring your high-end headphones to life with this, despite there not being a dedicated audio processor or amplifier built inside. So that's pretty impressive actually as well. And what also was very impressive is the audio quality during phone calls. We have a very good speaker here, a very good phone receiver, but also very nice microphones. And we actually have one voice microphone and one noise cancellation microphone. So that means you get a very good audio quality during phone calls on both ends, and everyone is clearly understandable, and you are even clearly understandable in very loud environments because the noise cancellation on there works like a charm. I'm very surprised by this device, and this actually has the best phone call quality I've ever experienced in the sub $200 range. So that was really surprising again. And of course, phone quality also includes reception quality. Here I also have nothing to complain about at all. I would say the reception quality is pretty much on high-end level. There isn't really any difference to higher priced phones. And that applies to GSM, 3G and also 4G LTE networks. The only thing I have to complain about is that we don't have FDD LTE band 20 at 800 MHz on here. So actually those of you using a network provider making use of the 800 MHz band won't be able to use LTE. But that's probably something most people can live with, since LTE isn't that useful right now considering the traffic limitations and all that stuff. GPS basically is working just fine as well, with very fast fixed times as you can see here, and a very good signal strength for satellites. But actually there's some software bug going on, which is the same with a lot of other Lollipop devices as well, including the GizChina C50 longbow, which prevents the phone from getting fixed for the GLONASS satellites, and that actually also causes the GPS to crash from time to time, which means you will have interruptions during navigation and tracking. That's pretty annoying, but has been fixed meanwhile on the GizChina C50 longbow, so I'm pretty positive that it will be fixed as well for the Lenovo K3 Note. And well, chances are high that it won't take long. And as I said, that's the case with a lot of Lollipop devices, and it also happens on Qualcomm phones apparently. So that's not a MediaTek issue, it's actually an issue with Lollipop itself. I don't know what's causing this, I'm not a developer, but actually it's fixable, and that's the important thing about it. One more thing that blew me away with the Lenovo K3 Note is its camera. You really wouldn't expect a good camera performance on a budget phablet, and actually you would be fine with a camera that performs mediocre. But actually the camera inside of there is amazing. Let me tell you that I'm usually pretty critical about phones' cameras, so you know I'm not easy to be satisfied with a phone's camera, but here I definitely am. We have a 13 megapixel rear camera with an unspecified sensor and an aperture of f2.0 plus a dual LED flash, and we also have a 5 megapixel front camera. And let me tell you, the rear camera creates stunning stunning pictures with a stunning picture quality. It definitely is the best camera I've seen in a budget phone to date. No way around that. We have a very good color reproduction, really a lot of details and an extreme depth of field considering the price tag, very quick shutter times, very fast exposure times, even fast moving objects simply look sharp and stunning. For example, you can do a shot of a car moving across you with like 100 kilometers per hour, no problem. And well, even HDR does look simply amazing. Pictures inside low light do look amazing with not much noise. And in terms of HDR, it even from time to time performs better than a Xiaomi Mi Note Pro, which in itself is very surprising. And it doesn't stop there. It even has a very good 1080p video recording quality. I mean, the picture quality is absolutely okay. And the audio quality also is perfect thanks to the two microphones going on here. And the front camera also is pretty good, at least under daylight. Nothing to complain about here, and even the camera application on here works just fine. It's not the standard Android-MediaTek application you see with most Chinese phones. It's actually the Lenovo camera application, which a lot of you probably know, and it's a very good application that allows you access to manual control about picture settings and all that stuff. It offers plenty of effects. Really nice camera application. Love it. So the next topic, and also the last topic to talk about, is battery. I have to admit that I at first was shocked with the battery life of the Lenovo K3 Note, and also had certain doubts about the capacity, which is claimed to be 3000 milliamps by Lenovo. I actually believed it would be a fake battery, which really would be a boomer considering how huge Lenovo is. But actually I was wrong with the assumption, and it just took some time for the battery to well, live up to its full performance. And well, meanwhile I get throughout one day easily. More than that isn't possible, but I'm still fine with that. I don't need to limit myself, and that's definitely a big pro. And inside the Geekbench battery test, the phone got around 6.5 hours of screen on time with no screen dim option enabled and automatic brightness control, so that's actually pretty good in my opinion. What I dislike a little is charging time. There's no fast charging. That means it will take a while for the battery to get full, and that's about 4 to 5 hours depending on which power supply you use. That's definitely a bit longer, but actually you can do that while you sleep at night if it lasts for a full day, so that's actually not that much of a problem. So here's my final conclusion about the Lenovo K3 Note. Well, I'm absolutely blown away by this phone. You know, I'm very critical about Chinese phones, and if I tell that, it really is the case. Without exaggerating, the Lenovo K3 Note is the best MT6752 phone I've tested to date. Yes, there have been good other phones as well, for example the US 3, but the US 3 is far more expensive. It maybe has a tad better quality in terms of camera and in terms of screen sharpness, but you also have to consider that you pay a much higher price for that, and actually you get pretty much the same, just with maybe a bit less quality for a much lower price tag here. This phone is only priced at 149 bucks. That's nothing for what you get. This is basically a free phone for what you get. I'm totally blown away by this. Definitely the highlights of the Lenovo K3 Note are its camera, the screen with colors and contrast and everything, and also the extremely well optimized software which allows it to reach a stunning performance. So if you really want to get as much phone as possible for as less money as possible, this phone is probably the way to go, or it is at least worth a closer look for you. Lenovo really did pretty much everything right on here, and well, I hope they will continue like that, because previously they haven't been known for creating the best budget phones out there. But well, maybe that will change and we will see a lot more exciting stuff from them from now on. So that's about my review for now. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it was helpful for you. If it was, I would appreciate a thumbs up and maybe even a subscription to the channel. If there are any questions left, make sure to drop them below in the comments area. If you like in general what we are doing at GizChina Germany, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter as well. You will now receive a performance demo of the Lenovo K3 Note, and I say thanks for watching, bye, over and out.